You're right then, guys. So just started to frame up for the shower. I was going to do this in 12mm ply, but my concern was trying to work out scribing it in. So at the moment I'm just framing it in. So framed to this side, worked out what we need along here, and then we'll frame this side. But before I can do that, I've got to pull this section of floor up, which is the front section, because I need to fit the seats. And to fit the seats, like I said before, I'm going to run some 50mm box section through. So I'm just got to work out where that was. So to do that, I needed to work out where the shower was going, so then I can work out where the seats are going. So now I've got that far, I'm going to put the seats into position so I know that they're going to clear with the uprights. Drill through the holes of the seat, pilot hole them to get me a roughly where I am, and then I can lift the floor up. The holes will be in the insulation underneath, and I can work out where the box section is going to go. And hopefully we're not going to be hitting across, well, in fact, if we hit a cross member, even better underneath, because really we can support to that then. But if not, I'll run some strapping underneath to create like a load bearing support. So that is the next job. So these are the two metal beams I'm going to use. After taking the floor off and marking it, my one batten needs to come out, because that's actually where the bolts go through, is right underneath that. So that's fine, we can take that out, and then that beam will take its place, and then that one will sit literally alongside this one. So I'm going to cut the insulation out, drop that in, and then cut that beam out there and drop that in, and then they'll be in place then. And then what I can do is put the floor back down, and drill the holes through, or I might even drill the holes beforehand actually, because the second hole for the, see, so not that one, but this one actually goes right into the cross member underneath. You've got two cross members running this way. And I was thinking about moving it, but actually that will work to my favour. So if I can get a long enough drill bit and drill all the way down through the cross member, and then bolt up to the cross member, that means these two beams are going to be bolted 1, 2 to the cross member as well as here. So it's all going to be hopefully nice and strong. Hope that makes sense, but I'll bring you back and show you. So there we go, I've got the metal bars in place and just drilled the holes on where they're going. They didn't quite line up, which is a bit worrying, as in they're not centered. Like, so this one's here at the end, then it goes in the center. So I'm a bit worried either my seats, when I lined them up, weren't in place, or to be fair, these battens are probably just going off. So they're on there, that's the main thing. Gonna get the floor back down now, and then run an actual drill bit. Just run a drill bit to make sure it goes all the way through, because all I did was use one of those step drill bits. So I used one of those to widen the holes, both ends, just to try and get them lined up. So I pilot hold them with a little drill bit all the way through, and then used the stepped one to open the holes up, because it's only M8 I think on these, M8 or M10. If I get M10s, I'll put M10s through. So yeah, I'll just put the floor down, and then I'll just go over with a bigger one, just to drill through, make sure they're lined up, and then drop the bolts through. There we go then, seats in place. They're not bolted down yet, I've just run some bolts through them just to hold them in place. But there's no point bolting them down yet until we've got the van finished, because I still need to get to that wall there to finish that off. Hopefully we're going to get a window on there. It doesn't leave a lot of space to have a dining area, but it's more practical for us to obviously be able to carry 4, or even in this case it's going to be 5. Don't have a dining area, we can work around the dining room area. But if I show on this one, being an adult, that's how much you've still got a decent bit of leg space even if you're an adult in here. But these are going to have child seats on them, so obviously a little bit more with the seat forward there, but it depends if you need that seat back. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, right then guys, so the shower unit, I wasn't too sure on how to get started One, because the shape of the van's all weird, and also like getting it level, because you can't use a level unless your van's level. So I wasn't really sure how to get it started. So what I did was I started with that bottom beam there. I worked out the size I needed. Now in this instance, my toilet's 67, so I've allowed 69 centimeters from one end to the other to allow for 12mm ply to go on the back, and then something on the front, and that should still allow me enough to get me toilet unit in with the lining stuff. Like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to do the lining yet, if I'm going to tank it, hygiene board it. I've even looked at the options of using lino flooring, so if we tank it and then lino floor it, it might be an option. Just having a look at different options at the moment. So what I then did to get kind of get in the van was get myself a square to set this bit, and I just squared that off the van. So let's just get that on there. There it is. So to get that bit, and I squared that off, which then set that. I then worked out the length of this bit here I wanted, and just put a temporary beam from across the top, and then tried to get that square. So to get this square, I then squared that off like all different ways. So squared it off there, against the side, just squared it all off to set that one there. And then it was just a matter of just kind of squaring stuff off of each other. And then to check it's all okay, I'll just try and set back. It's hard to get a video here. And then to make sure it's okay, what I've done is I took a tape measure from that corner all the way down to the bottom and measured that, and then did the same from that corner down to that corner and made sure they were the same, made sure it was square. And if it wasn't, I could have a slight bit of adjustment on that top beam by doing those nuts and just moving left or right. And then that's obviously got this front section square now. So all I'm doing now is infilling. So where we've got the infill buttons, I'm going to do this side, and then what I do is I'll cut a bit of plywood. So a whole bit of plywood to go on the front here, and then cut the door out and like the little access panel. And then the back of it will be 12mm sheet ply, insulated, and then the roof. Yeah, it's all right. It's going all right so far. So far, so good. All right then, guys. Quick update. It's about a week later. Been feeling a bit rough, so haven't really done much, but anyway, I'll give you a quick update of what we've done. So sides all carpeted, got the roof carpeted. He's started to get the lights in now as well. Got the front onto the shower, that's 12mm ply. Got a couple of options for that. Gonna try some stain on it first. I've got some nice grey stain, and then I got the T-trim and a router to obviously put the T-trim on that. See how that goes. Got a bit of scribing in to do at the top there where it hasn't joined. Bed unit going here for the little one, and then obviously bed below us. Today I'm going to try and build the carcass for the kitchen unit. All these white bits here that you can see are for the electrics. So there's some at the top here, hid behind this, but this panel's got to come out because I've got to insulate behind it. But for now I'll just put it on there so I can start to see what it looks like. The roof's done out of 9mm ply. I probably could have got away with 5.5. I was just trying to be a tight ass, because all the offcuts I've got I can use to make the carcasses of the like overhead lockers I'm going to put in. So the front's all carpeted, seats are in, not fixed yet, but they are in. So yeah, it's all coming together. Try and get this done today if I can, get the actual shower stained, just because I want to see what it looks like, because if it looks okay, then I'm going to stain the rest of it. So yeah, well, here we are getting there. Toilet fits in there, obviously got to insulate inside the toilet, and then I've got some 12mm boards to go on there. Just set up, we'll do those in 3 sections, and I'm still trying to work out what to do on the inside, if it's going to be skin, sorry, what do they call it? oh, I can't even think of the words, tanked. If I'm going to tank it or if I'm going to hygiene board it, I just don't know yet. So we're kind of not at that point yet, so we're okay. You can see the sound deadening on there that we've got. Then it'd be insulated, then it'd be foiled, taped. At the top, probably going to have to get some recycled stuff. Recycled, because the foam I've got, sorry, the polystyrene I've got is 50mm. It just doesn't fit. So yeah, we're coming together. Alright then guys, so just building this kitchen unit and just trying some different options for the finish of the actual plywood. And I've got this stain, it's supposed to be grey, but anyway, you pull it on with a brush, leave it for a minute, and then, hang on, bear with, get a rag and wipe it off. Just go with the grain, and then you get this kind of finish to it. To me, it don't look great though, it looks brown. Maybe a second coat, but it really does bring out the finish of the plywood, and it brings out that grain. I'll show you all it is I've got. So it's this Furniture Clinic wood stain grey, but like I said, so far it looks brown to me. But we will give it another coat, and then what I've got is some of that U-trim, and I've tried to put a channel in it with a rotor, real cheap rotor, 20 quid off of eBay, and a bit, it seems to be okay. Probably put a bit of glue in there as well, just to tidy it up. But I'll bring it back afterwards and show you what we've got. There we go then. So it's not quite grey, but it's okay for what it was, you know, a bit of stain, bit of plywood. It's cheaper than a furniture board. And we've got the SMEV in there, or Dometic now I think they call them. Just got to get this sealed down alright. I've got to find some little screws, but I managed to get 3 in for now. 1, 2, and then 1 over in that corner, but just got to get some more. To put these in, I just had to drill a tiny little hole as well, as in just so these little metal caps can fall down. But yeah, not too bad. Managed to get the trim on. It's not perfect, I'll show you, but actually for the first attempt it was alright. Just need to take it a bit slower with the rotor, because it slipped, and then where it slipped, like you've got a corner like this where it dropped down, so it's not gone on alright. But apart from that, most of it's alright. The only other bit was here, so you can see it's where I've gone around the corners, so I'll take it slower next time on the corners. But actually for now that's absolutely perfect, and I'm quite happy with the plywood finish with the stain. We'll make that into a cupboard now, so we'll put some doors and work out what we're going to put on here, if we're going to have a fridge, an oven or whatever. But for now, I'll get this in the van, I'll show you it in place. Alright guys, so we're actually probably a couple of weeks later from when I actually made this little unit, and done a bit more on the van since, so this is just a quick update. So the actual kitchen unit hasn't had any more work done on it yet. It is in place in the van. Van's all carpet lined, insulated now. Seats are in. Got the bathroom insulated and fully lined on the inside, ready to do whatever we're going to do in there. Same again, not sure what we're going to do yet. Just got to put a roof panel up. But yeah, toilets kind of set up. Had to make a bit of an extension because the what we call it, the door was too thick. So I could have just made a door for this, but I'd rather just use what I've got, and I haven't got worry. This has been stained. It is still wet at the moment, so I'm trying a different way, because basically when I did the top of this, it said put the stain on and then wipe it off, which I did, but I'm not sure. So this time I've just put the stain on and leaving it to dry rather than wiping it off, and we'll just see how that dries now. Yeah, see if that dries with a darker finish. I did make an overhead locker as well, so that's now in place. So that's all good. So same again, trying to put this trim on,
this isn't too bad, but if you look, it shows all the imperfections. So where this wasn't quite cut straight, you can obviously then see it. So what I'll do is I'll just pop this trim out, sand that back and put it back in. And this lock's going to change. I've got some black ones to go on here. That's just what I'd line around to try it. But pretty happy with that overhead locker. That come out all right. What else have we done in here? Started to get all the electrics in now. So all my electrics are going to go in a box up here. Same again, I'll just put a front panel on here. These units actually come with like all the fuses and stuff on them. And I've been using these, I think they call them, is it Waco? Or Wago connectors to do the electrics. Just because if I want to change anything, you can just disconnect it easy and away you go. So it looks a mess at the moment because it's just in there for now. I had to extend because I want the controller for the heater up here as well, so I had to extend that. So that's all a bit. So I just run 2 flexes here. They go all the way along the van and they go down. They're down the pillar. And they go to the diesel heater, which is over there. So all the cables now for the diesel heater are running in the van to where eventually the battery's going to go. So I'm just currently using a car battery at the moment just to get some lights in here, because I've got lights on the roof now. I've got a little light under the unit here, so you can change that. There we go, turn the thing off. These lights are okay, but the only thing is, if I turn the lights off now, and then you want to turn them back on, each of these have got their own little on button, which is really annoying because they don't actually hold, they don't hold their memory, as in, so you don't know if they were on or off. So it's a bit annoying, that. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably put a few little lights like that one around. These ones are actually on switches and they just come up. They are basically an on-off light. So if I stick a couple of those around, so then when we get in the van we can just have like a little switch maybe down, maybe have 2 switches, maybe have a switch down here so you get in the van you can switch them on, and then switch by the bed so you switch them off. Apart from that, there's not a lot more going on in this van at the moment. I made a little bed for the little one. It's a little bunk bed. It's all just storage at the moment. So we made a bunk bed. Then we'll have a bed along this way for us, so we can get the little one in here. Yeah, apart from that, diesel heaters in, batteries, electrics coming along. It's all coming along. It's just a little bit slow going. Trying to do it, like I said before, I'm doing this van on the cheap. So we're just doing a bit here and there where we get a bit of spare cash, do a bit then, get a bit more. I'm quite lucky as I've just sold me T5, so that's put a bit of money in the bank, but I don't want to put a lot of money into this van. I just want to get, like I said before, I just want to get out and use it and make it practical, get on the holiday. So the plan for this one is May, get this finished by May. But yeah, there we go. Any questions, stick them in a comment. Cheers guys.